This episode of AI Success Cast is brought to you by the AI Success Club. Do you find yourself asking questions like, how do I keep up with all the new AI updates? How do I harness AI for my marketing? And how do I stay in my zone of genius? Visit AISuccessClub.com and start leveraging your AI copywriting and content creation skills for maximum profits.
Welcome to AI Success Cast, the quintessential podcast for entrepreneurs, marketers, and tech enthusiasts that shows you how to innovate, inspire, impact, and integrate the transformative power of artificial intelligence into your businesses and professional life. This is where technology meets human ambition. The future of AI becomes an accessible reality, and listeners like you are empowered to rewrite your success story in the age of AI. Be sure to visit our website at AISuccessCast.com, and while you're there, subscribe to us via your favorite network. Now get your notepad ready, make yourself comfortable, and prepare to be powerfully prompted toward profit. Okay, welcome back into the AI Success Cast. I'm Andy O'Brien, and today we have a real treat for you because we have Denise Wakeman here. Denise and I go way back. Denise is the co-founder of the AI Success Club, which I am the other co-founder. So this is going to be quite a treat. Denise is also the founder of Marketing Trailblazers, of which I am one. I'm part of that group as well. She's been helping small businesses since 1996 through innovative content marketing and now integrating AI strategies and tools with me. Her curiosity shapes her passion for experimenting and learning about new marketing frontiers. An early adopter in the digital landscape, Denise is a valuable ally for small and solo business owners aiming to boost visibility and growth. And Denise, is just another day for us. Welcome into the AI Success Cast. Had to have you on here. I mean, it's the podcast that it's been a long time coming, and now here it is, and we have to be together on this, for at least one episode. And
I'm cool with that.
Yeah, just to kick around what's happening with AI lately, and just to get your take on some things. And so, welcome to the AI Success Cast.
Well, thank you for having me on as one of your guests, Andy. I appreciate it. Like talking to an old friend. Oh yeah. We've been together for a long time. I'm glad.
Well, I remember back in November of 2022, when AI first came on the scene. I mean, of course, we all had, Alexa and Siri and all that stuff. But AI, as we kind of see it now, the language models and everything that's happening out there, really came onto the scene in November of that year. And you and I got together a few weeks later and just marveling at everything. And so my question to you is kind of what sparked your interest in it when it first came on the scene?
Well, this goes to my curiosity and experimental nature of wanting to find out things. Also, I'd say I'm pretty much like a tool geek. It's like anything that I run across online that is a business tool. It's like, I usually want to experiment with it, see how it works. Is it something I should use? Is it something that is ridiculous? Whatever, find that out. And as I said to some others, like initially I just thought, another thing to have to figure out. That was my first reaction when I started seeing people talking about it on Facebook. I believe it's where I first saw people really chatting about it. And then I was like, oh, okay, I want to see what this is. And I had one of those moments like I had in 2004 with blogging that it's like, oh my gosh, this changes everything.
Yeah.
It took about 2 minutes of using ChatGPT to see the potential most especially for the small and solo business owner. I mean, yes, for everybody, but my focus is on the little guys, or whatever, the smaller businesses. And anything that helps our businesses be more efficient, get the work done that we have to get done, because so many of us wear, all the hats, so it really made sense to me, especially because content is everything that we're doing all day long, whether it's writing an email or writing a text message or a social media post or whatever. And I could see that it could really create a new way of doing business for the small business owner.
And boy, did it. And that was a little over a year ago. You and I launched the AI Success Club in February. We just had our 1-year anniversary as of this interview. And we grew really fast, right?
Yes, really fast.
It was crazy. It was a crazy couple of months there when we first launched. We were doing calls and then signing people up to our membership site, like by the hundreds, literally, and so many people, we got to know new people, but also we reconnected with a lot of people that were also marveling at AI. And I just remember those days like it was yesterday.
Yes, they were pretty heady.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it, when I look back on that time, it started that it's like, well, let's just do a free webinar for our audiences to tell them about this Chat GPT thing, and then, what I advise my clients to do is like, well, what's the next logical step to take after that free webinar? Because they're going to say, oh, how do we learn more about this? And so, like, okay, let's do a paid webinar. Then it was like, well, what's the next step after that? And that's when if I'm remembering correctly, that's when we decided to launch the club. And, for the early adopters out there, we both have audiences that we've known for a long time, that trust us, that know that, we don't BS people and that kind of thing. So I think that was really the initial thing that got us started, that people trusted us. And it's like, well, if they're doing it, maybe they'll teach me how to do it, so.
Trust was really big when we came out with it, because it was really new at the time. People weren't really on board with even what to do, how to do it. And we were really one of the pioneers. I hate to say it, but we were really on top of it at the time. People, and the fact that people trusted us, I'd been around a long time, you have as well. And it's just any port in a storm, right? I mean, when you had this influx of new technology, like let's say when the internet first came on the scene in the mid 90s, early 90s,
yep.
People were looking for people they could trust for guidance. And,
exactly.
And this is similar to that, right?
Absolutely. And, I refer to blogging. It's like I set up a blog in 2004 and saw the huge potential of that, especially for the small and solo business owners, of being able to create your own website, basically, right? And publish your own content without having to pay an arm and a leg to a web developer. And that was a big change moment too. And people then were saying, well, can you teach me how to do this? Can you set up a blog for me? How do I blog? What do I blog about? So it's kind of the same thing. I didn't want to get into blog building, but I did set up a few for people. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. and now, I mean, the difference that I see though is when the internet came on the scene, yes, there were a lot of things happening with the internet, right? But but with AI, it's like so many new inventions and developments are coming out so fast. The internet wasn't really like that, if I recall.
No, it's definitely sped up since 1990s. Yeah. It's
so
this AI has just gone so fast that even for someone like me is ready to, just explore everything, I can't keep up with what's going on. I mean, I'm doing my best. I don't want to say that I'm falling behind because I do know pretty much what's going on, but also there's so many levels of it. It's partially having to stay focused on what's going to help my audience, our audience, versus what corporations are doing, or what's happening in the medical industry, or what's happening in the insurance industry. That's all interesting, but with so much happening so fast, I have to keep focused on what can be applied for the small business owner. And so that's why I try to just kind of like, okay, I don't need to know that, but I do need to know this,
Yeah, and
there's
we
a lot.
carved out a nice niche for ourselves, content marketing and copywriting, which is what the club is. So what are your curation secrets? Like, how do you say, okay, with this mass amount of info coming in today, let's say Monday, how do we decide what's important, what could be looked at tomorrow or next week, and what would really appeal to the members, or how do you decide?
Well, it's a really good question. It happens probably without a lot of consciousness. I mean, no, I'm conscious, but I am conscious. But I think I'm going intuitively a lot, which is kind of, I didn't think I would say that just now, but that I have subscribed to so many AI newsletters. I mean, I don't even know how many I subscribe to anymore, and I keep subscribing to more. But I kind of watch the headlines that come in. I scan the headlines on my emails, and if there's something that catches my attention, then I'll open it right then and there. And also, during the week, I tend to be, more focused on what's happening in the business right now. What do I need to get done? What do I need to, and so I don't do as much reading during the week, but on the weekends, I do a lot of review of stuff. Now, of course, that could mean that it's like 7 days out of date, but I really, if I'm not getting value, then I will unsubscribe pretty quickly. But if I'm learning something when I open somebody's email newsletter, then I either will mark it or I'll save an article. I use Google Keep to save content that I curate. So it's not a really systematic, organized approach.
Instinctive though, right?
Yeah.
By now, you probably know what would appeal to members and what could maybe be forgettable or just not get any traction.
And there's things like something new happens, like Bard becomes Gemini, and one day everybody's talking about how they can't access it. Next day, there's an email from Google saying you have access to Gemini now. Okay, well, that's important. It's part of the Google environment. I use Google tools, so I need to know what that is. I need to know how it works. I need to know how it shows up in my workspace. So that's something I pay attention to. OpenAI, one day it's, you get an email that says, oh, they have a new text-to-video tool. Well, it's not available to everybody yet, but, the chatter is that it's better than lots of the other text-to-video tools that are out there. So, okay, that's important to know. So those are the things I try to keep a focus on. And also, being a tool geek, I look at tools a lot. There are gazillions of tools now. Everybody's integrating AI into their tools. The tried and true tools that we use every day, all our email marketing tools now have AI in them, or whatever. But there's also a lot of tools that are AI specific to help you get specific jobs done. So when I see it's something that relates to what a small business owner needs to get done, I go take a look at that. And sometimes I invest in them, sometimes I don't.
That makes sense. And I should say that in the club, as co-founders of the club, I think you and I complement each other well, because I'm kind of a bull in a china shop with some stuff, and you have an ability to kind of keep me focused, and you're much more organized than I am. So, but at the same time, I mean, I've got things I want to launch to the club, but maybe they're not ready. You know, I come up with all these ideas. I need a butterfly net for all the ideas I get, and it's just hard to know what would be interesting for the members, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's something that I really admire about you, because the idea machine is like cranking stuff out so fast that I can't keep track of them.
Wow.
But implementation,
That's a whole other thing.
that's a whole other thing. And that takes more time, which is probably a good thing, because then one can evaluate, you know, what's actually, like, how will this work? What does that look like for the end user, that sort of thing. So, but I think, for example, the custom GPTs that you cranked out like a dozen of them the first weekend they were available to be made.
Yeah.
You know, we've been referring to those frequently and sharing them with our members. Like,
And I keep saying I'm going to do more, and I don't, you know, and because I think if I do more, I'll end up doing like 50 more, you know, and it's just so hard to know when to stop. And that's the other thing with GPTs, you know, you have to decide, is the market saturated already with GPTs? You know, is it worth even trying to make certain ones available? When I had Tanya Smith on here, on the AI Success Cast, she said that she created a GPT for her group, for the people that follow her, like their own customized thing. So, and actually I did that too, but I think it needs to be, we need to focus more on how the GPTs could be really a game changer, for lack of a better term. Because right now they're just all over the place, and I almost feel like I'd rather just use ChatGPT, you know, than go in and use this specialized one, you know, where, I don't know.
well, I mean, I think that's the thing about all the tools that are coming out. And so what are there, like 1 million custom GPTs now? I mean, I don't really know, and maybe I'm exaggerating, but I'm probably not too far off. But I think that it's really about finding something that does the job we want it to do. Like, for example, your target audience deep dive GPT, that does a very specific job that helps the user just focus in on that question, that task of determining what their target audience is and who they want, what they're doing. And I think that that's very useful. I've tried some GPTs that just were terrible.
Yeah.
You know, that they didn't do, you know, I used the prompts that they're giving me and it still didn't generate what I was looking for. So, you know, I think it's probably less is more.
Yeah, and it's probably a needle in a haystack, finding the ones that are really valuable, you know, of all the ones that are in the marketplace.
Usually when I'm reading somebody's newsletter, AI newsletter, and they say they've created something, like created a GPT, I will, you know, and they link to it, I will test it. I will say, okay, you're somebody I trust already because I'm reading your newsletter. So I'm going to download this GPT and I'm going to test it. And I found some good ones. You know, but again, it's really about having that niche tool,
right,
that's going to get you a very specific result versus ChatGPT or I was about to say Bard, Gemini, Claude, any of those where you can just go all over the place with them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have chats that are like miles long with ChatGPT.
Oh, me too.
Yeah, because I just keep going. I mean, it all relates, but it's not a focused thing. It's just what's coming out of my brain saying, okay, now I want this, now I want that, try this. Oh, I don't really like that. Do that over again and do this with it. And, I kind of see my thinking process though.
Well, that's always good,
Mm-hmm.
So what's been jumping out at you lately? Because I know depending on when someone's going to watch this or listen to it, could be whatever you say next could be totally antiquated.
Yeah.
But what's as of this month, this time of the year,
Yeah.
what is like the hot thing right now that you would say is you're excited about?
Well, I'm very keen to experiment with tools like creating video from text. They have been around for a while. Lumen 5, I signed up for through AppSumo like years ago. And that was, you put in a link to a blog post and it created a video for you. That's AI, right?
Yep.
And there's InVideo that's doing that in Pictory. But I want to see, I want to have access to Sora, OpenAI's tool, because people are saying how realistic it is. And so I think that's exciting because from a marketing perspective, video is, the king
Right.
for engagement, for visibility, for repurposing, so I'm excited about that because of video. I'm not a videographer, so I need all the help I can get. And I can write text or just paste in, an email, right? Like the content from an email and have it generate a video. I'm all for that. I mostly am looking at tools and workflows that help for marketing, for online marketing. That's really where I keep my focus. I don't do a lot outside of that because I just don't have time. So, for example, a podcast like this one, it's being recorded in audio and video, and that makes it such a valuable piece of content that can be chopped up into so many different ways to promote it and to tease out different things about it for getting more eyeballs and getting more subscribers, which is usually the goals, or getting sponsors.
Right.
So, right now, the two tools I'm using most for that, and for other videos too, it doesn't have to be a podcast episode, but it could be a webinar episode or whatever, I'm using Cast Magic in combination with Descript. I did some work on that recently, and what I found is that I got better content from the Cast Magic transcription and then all the built-in AI prompts that they have. So getting scripts, getting social, getting top 5 takeaways, they have this whole huge amount of stuff that you just put in your video or audio file and it just pops it out. Whereas you can't edit the video. So Descript, which is a very powerful tool, you can edit the video through text, and now they have AI embedded in that. And when I asked it to find me clips, what they pulled out were ridiculous. I mean, they made no sense.
Oh.
So it was easier for me to go get the timestamp from a clip out of Cast Magic and then find it in the script and then create the video.
Oh man, but that's not optimal,
It's not optimal, but better than not having those tools.
Yeah. Boy, it'd be nice if there was one tool.
I think that's what Descript is trying to be, but I wasn't happy with the results from Descript. So
Yeah. Well, I guess it's just a matter of time before everything comes together on these.
Well, that's the thing. It's still early days, and there's so many products out there that are being just, released to the public, and some are good and some aren't so good. That's just where we are. And that's how I came up with this other, alternate workflow. It's like, okay, I like this part and I like that part. Now I'll just put them together.
Wow. So we're always giving tips and trainings and strategies in the club. What do you think, like right now, is some of the best tips that you could give someone who's maybe they're dabbling in AI, but they aren't really, at a certain level that they'd like to be, but they see all these great things happening and they're not, they feel like kind of, they have FOMO,
Yeah.
And so like, how would you steer that person in the right direction to really get a good handle on it?
Join the club? No.
There you go.
Don't want to be too, overt there. I think that it's really, I do have these conversations with friends and people who, aren't necessarily working online. And, it's really about just sticking your toe in, like with ChatGPT. I find that that's a pretty easy one, but let's say all of your tools are Microsoft based, let's just say. They're not for me, but for many people they are. Well, use Copilot then, and just start asking questions to the tool. It's a tool, and start asking questions. What do you want to know? I mean, I think I started by, the first couple of days, like, what should I do on my trip in Japan?
Right.
And it just like spewed out so much stuff. I was in shock, that, what I have 3 days in Kyoto. What should I do? Something like that. Or how do I make an apple pie? I mean, just do something really simple, right? And see where it takes you, and then carry on conversationally with it, because I think that's when you start to see the power of when you push it to, ask another question, get more, ask it for more detail, expand on that idea, things like that. Then you start to see where it can go.
Yeah, that's what I like about it probably the most, is the fact that you can, all these follow-up prompts that you do, people may give up too soon with doing follow-up prompts.
Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I could spend all day just doing prompting, and getting better and better and better results. And just drilling down as deep as you can go. And it's, it still hasn't gotten old, It's like, AI is just a new development that you have to learn and maximize.
Yeah, I use it just about every day for something, whether it's, analyze this spreadsheet and tell me the top 5 points, the top that from the results, or, that's not sounding very good there, but, I need to do a survey. Let's say I need to do a survey with my audience who is XYZ about ABC. Give me 5 questions I should think about asking them. And then, going from there, just drilling and drilling and drilling till I get something that I like. I think it's important to note that it's not perfect,
Right.
And you'll get some very boring content if you don't tell it not to do that, right?
No, true.
I will often tell it words not to use or words to use, and that sort of thing. So,
well, one thing that another guest I had on the Success Cast, Declan Dunn, he said that it's all in, or maybe it was Kevin, it's all in how you train ChatGPT on the avatar that you are describing. And the more detailed you are with your prompt and how really fine-tuned you can get with the avatar, then it will generate all kinds of stuff for you if you can get that right. Right. Trial and error, so many things to just keep trying.
Yeah. And I think that it's also important to understand that, use it from a business perspective, using it to complete tasks for you, to writing tasks especially, is that you have to come to it with information.
Yeah.
You need to know how to describe your business. You need to know who your audience is. And you can ask these questions to help you verbalize those things, or, be more descriptive about those things. But you have to come from a place of knowledge about what you want and what your objectives are around using these tools.
And you can get help from ChatGPT
right
with all that, So yes, the more things you bring to the party, the better better time you're going to have.
Yeah. More specific, more details.
Yes. So that's a great tip for anybody, no matter what their level of expertise is in AI. So
yeah.
So what do you see in your crystal ball, Denise, with AI? Do you think, and in terms of even ethical stuff, I mean, do you think they're going to get their act together with this, or do you think it's just going to be lawsuit after lawsuit and what do you see happening?
Well, like a lot of things, I think there will be lawsuit after lawsuit until it becomes easier to crystallize how and what people are looking for in terms of ethical use or disclaimers or anything like that. As human beings, there's always going to be someone who's unethical and who's trying to scam you and, trying to rip you off. There will always, I don't see that disappearing, but, as a business person, you can decide that you're going to be transparent and ethical about it. If I use ChatGPT to help me write a blog post, I'll say that on the blog post. Still my idea. The idea came out of my head, right? Yes. And it helped me formulate something, and then I go and edit it. But it's helped me, right? So in terms of ethics, it's like the GDPR, all the privacy stuff that came out of Europe. They'll probably lead the way more on this than the U.S. will.
Yeah,
but I think you do need to be careful, knowing that these tools are not unhackable too. So be careful of what you put into them, what kind of content you're feeding them. Don't put your personal private stuff in there, because you don't know who's going to end up with it, just like anything else online, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But I think that I'm sort of seeing a trend of more personal chatbots. So it's not just like, I use ChatGPT for business, but I never say, so help me write in my journal, what should I write about? Or I feel blue today. How should I, I don't ever do that stuff, getting real personal with it. But I think that there are ways to do that. Got an email from our colleague, Lou Bortone, and he said his new best friend is pi.ai. And I was like, what's that? And I immediately looked it up, and it's a personal bot. It's more for personal communication versus business communication. Like, it's not going to write a essay for you necessarily, but it can help you, do you can have more personalized conversations.
That's interesting.
I mean, I didn't really test it, but I looked it up, and it's free, so.
You mentioned Lou. We got to get him on the show.
That's right.
Well, this is all very exciting stuff, Denise, and it's great to have you as a partner on the project, on the AI Success Club, and we're going to be around for a while because of all these lifetime memberships. We have to come through for them. We can't just so anyone
idea.
or listening to this thinking, geez, I'd like to get a lifetime membership, but I don't know how long they're going to be around. Well, we're here to stay, and this is just such a it's such a rush. Waking up in the morning knowing that we do this now, that we have this membership and we do these trainings, and AI is just such a huge part of our world now.
Yeah.
Incredible.
It's moving fast. And so, finding people that you trust to guide you on that path, I think is important, whoever it is, maybe, we're on that path. We both are very, curious and like, what's next? What's next? Is this something we should be telling our people about? That sort of thing. I think so. This isn't changing anytime soon.
Great time to be an entrepreneur, that's for sure.
Yeah. I know. Yeah.
Well, Denise Wakeman, it's great to have you on the AI Success Cast as one of our first guests as we put this out there into the world, and many more exciting things happening in AI, and a lot more guests coming, and it's just a lot of fun these days.
Yes.
So
it is.
Thanks for being a part of this.
And thank you for having me on your show.
Thank you for tuning into AI Success Cast, where you gain the tips, tools, and tactics that prompt you to easily innovate, inspire, impact, and integrate the transformative power of artificial intelligence in your business and professional life. Remember to visit our website at aisuccesscast.com and enjoy even more great episodes like this one. Again, while you're here, subscribe to us via your favorite network. We look forward to seeing you next time on AI Success Cast.